So in this fourth video on managing addiction and negative habits, we're going to look at how replacing negative behavior with positive behavior and identity affirming development is another way to combat these issues. So let's get into it. So replacing negative behaviors or addictive behaviors with things that are beneficial for you, I came across through Jordan Peterson, and he's very honest about addiction. He often says things like, well, he's more surprised that a lot of other people aren't addicted or aren't unhappy. Life is hard, life is complex, and having a crutch or something there that makes it seem easier is a very attractive thing. And it's something that many of us deal with, this sense of needing something because of the difficulties in life. But if we want to be on our own team, focus on our general well-being and our relationship to other people, we need to realize that we're not just doing these things for ourselves, we're doing them for others. And generally, if we want to improve our intrinsic well-being, we want to focus on things that we're doing for us and for other people that make us feel better and aren't reliant on external things. So, as you said about replacing a negative with a positive, I would like to look at how, although things like chocolate and smoking and certain drugs and alcohol and promiscuity or social media or negative thinking can be very alluring and very attractive and very exciting, they're not good for us on a global level. They're not good for ourselves, our connections, our general mental health. So if you can replace them with a positive, he seems to claim that that's one of the only ways to truly overcome something. I love the example in Lost Connections from Johann Hari, where he speaks about a group of people who were really suffering. This may have actually been in Lost Connections, a book more focused on depression than addiction. But there was a group of people who were given a garden and they were cultivating it in a city. And as it grew, they had something to put their energy in, put their time in, and they weren't as focused on depressive thoughts, anxious thoughts, negativity, because they were seeing something blossom and flourish. And what I take from that is, to stop addictive behaviors, you can use the tactics from James Clear. You can use the tactics from Justin Brewer and from myself on using mindfulness and using habit change. But one crucial thing is there's going to be a big void in your life when you stop something that has become a habit and become an addiction. So replacing it with something is vital for your overall sense of well-being and interest and engagement in life, and also for the cues and the triggers and the cravings. So one way I used to do this when I stopped smoking, I went through the process of using vapes and using different equipment, and that was all brilliant, and using the habit change and the mindfulness. But one thing I used to do is I'd go and do press-ups when I had the thing, and it would break that pattern. It would stop that initial desire. It would just replace it with something else, and that's great. Go and do something active, go and do something social, engaging, if you can, in the instant where you need to replace the trigger. And also, generally, there's going to be a big void because you're probably going to be spending considerable amounts of your day eating junk food, on social media, smoking, drinking. So if you can replace it with something else, brilliant. I chose martial arts. Now I couldn't live without it. And it's something that gives me more meaning than any of those vices ever did. It could be anything. It could be playing chess, playing football, archery, taking up any new skill, learning a language, something that you can put your effort into, get those dopamine spikes from, and see yourself progressing in, see yourself improving in, that then becomes part of that identity basis, that sort of sense of who you are and what you offer to the world. And just becoming good at something and enjoying something is something you're probably missing if you have addictive behaviors. It's probably masking some lack of meaning or lack of want or trauma. And although you can't tap into that necessarily and fix it without some clinical help or a lot of self-work, what you can do is add something on top which makes you feel good and is intrinsically beneficial for yourself and those around you. So yeah, I'd really encourage you to replace a negative behavior with a positive, and really see that you are worth putting the effort into and improving, and not feeding into the craving and cues of an addictive behavior. So let's have a little look at self-compassion and kindness, and the final element in this series.